Today I'm doing something a little different. If you're subbed to the channel, you already know that I don't do very many reviews at all because people, well, you all on the internet can be rather judgmental, and like the old saying goes, opinions are kind of like assholes. Here is the Harbor Freight Hercules line 4.5 inch 7 amp angle grinder. Mine is already out. Instructions in the box, obviously. So let's grab our safety gear. I have my glasses on already. Let's get to it. As you can see, mine is already very heavily used. I didn't want to do the review until I actually put this thing through a lot of abuse. And when I mean a lot, that's kind of an understatement. Out of the box, you're going to get a handle, which does allow you to put on either side. It's good if you're a righty or lefty, or for those tricky angles. Comes with a little tool. These are okay, I guess. You know, nothing crazy. I've had a couple Makita grinders that I've really liked, and luckily when these break, they're pretty easy to make. Otherwise, I imagine you can order them off of almost any website, including eBay or Amazon. Anyway, if I remember correctly, it did come with a couple one cutting disc and one grinding disc. Don't quote me on that. It's been a long time, like I said. Weight, it's actually pretty hefty. Just for comparison, I have a Chicago Electric, the cheaper cousin of this one's very old too. Like I said, the cheaper cousin of the Harbor Freight brands. I actually hate that thing. It's loud. It sounds like, I don't know if it actually has bearings, but it makes a lot of noise. And yeah, I hate the on-off button too. Very hard plastic, kind of a rubbery bottom, reinforced power cable. I guess my only complaint about the power cable, it could be a little bit longer, but it also, you know, it's just as long as the Chicago Electric one, and I think my Makita was even shorter yet. Before I get too crazy, I just gotta say, you know, this grinder actually has really impressed me. Like, I buy things from Harbor Freight that I know are gonna get kind of abused, that I don't care about too much, but certain power tools I've never been one to skimp out on. You know, they're kind of an investment, especially if you're using them a lot. And don't mind me, I'm just cleaning as I'm talking. I was literally just using these things too. And when I mean things, I liked it so much I bought another one. Now, at my local store, I think I got these on sale for $50. This one was a little more because it was the first one and no sale on it. But this one, when I went in, yep, 50 bucks. And it's great. Oh my gosh, this is like my really messy fab table, and having them both just plugged in, ready to go when you're doing a project cuts your time down by a lot. You know, I usually leave the little flappy sanding discs on one, and I'll switch the grinding and the cutting wheel on the other. And yeah, it's fantastic. I'm not really gonna demo them for you. If you're researching this, you probably already know that what a grinder sounds like and what it does. I will insert a couple clips of what it can do. I'm not going to also put these to the test to the point of failure. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I'm surprised. That's all I can say, is I'm rather surprised. You know, I've returned a couple of like these cheaper Chicago tools. The drills are garbage. The grinders are so-so. Their impact guns are a whole nother story. That's just a nightmare. But these things, this new Hercules line, I'm even convinced that I might try some of their other tools because of how stout these things are. I've dropped them. I've ran ridiculously long extension cables outside to do stuff like cut axles off of junk cars and drop them in the dirt and even in the rain. And, you know, I'm not saying they're waterproof, obviously, but these things are definitely more stout. And, you know, applause to Harbor Freight for actually building a decent tool. What everyone's here to you know, actually hear is the complaints. Like, what is the downside? I guess the downside would be, like I said, I wish the cable was maybe a little longer. The button, you know, I understand it's very safe, but it's also kind of tricky. at times, especially if you're wearing thicker gloves, to turn on. The older one here, sometimes you have to, you know, push down, slide up, and lock. Sometimes it just shuts off because the button doesn't want to lock. This one I haven't had any problems. It's a lot more firm. So maybe that's an issue. You know, the buttons maybe wear out. Also the guard, it's well designed in how you can adjust it and rotate it. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. So there's a clip on the underside right there. Pop it open and it just spins on this collar. You can take it all the way off as well. My argument, or not my argument, the downside of the guard would be it does get loose over time. It has like an adjustment for it. Not too bad, but that's probably the cheapest feeling part on the whole thing. My Makita was not as adjustable, so I'll give you the, you know, the point there, but it definitely wasn't as flimsy as these. And also this one I did adjust once before, and I ended up bending the release because it was on there. I wouldn't say too tight, it was holding it on there without, you know, when I was cutting it was starting to rattle away. Like it was moving as I was cutting, so I tightened it and it ended up bending this thing because I couldn't get it open. Had tons of hours and tons of abuse, and if you don't believe me, you can go into any of my videos where I'm working on the car, and I guarantee you, especially exhaust work, I've used this thing every single time. Cutting, grinding, sanding, you know, I've done it all with that thing, and it's a stout little device, stout machine. I'm rather impressed. You know, I can't describe it any other way other than they're pretty dang good. This is a really short video. Like I said, I have a couple clips I can put in, but you all know how these things work. So if you're thinking about purchasing one of these Hercules grinders, I definitely would just spring the extra money. Stay away from the Chicago crap. It's not good. It's definitely for the people that are doing a small project and only want to do it, you know, they're going to use it maybe like twice a year. But if you're a DIYer like me, you know, I'm here working on cars all the time. Not only that, random abstract art when I can. These things are fantastic. The abused grinder I've had for well over a year now, and it's still kicking. I still abuse it. I still don't care, and it's a great tool. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps out someone out there.